things theology, all things theology. We chop it up properly, without an apology. Gotta give that theology to God, hallowed be, cause this is how we do it at All Things Theology.
Yo, grace and peace. Welcome back to an episode of All Things Theology, where this is your host, K-Dub, and today I want to talk about just jaw-dropping news with Robert Morris. Many people have heard about it by now, that he has been indicted in regards to his criminal acts of years ago, decades ago. I want to talk about that, but let's first talk about an indictment. I think there's some confusion, some clarifying questions people may have about what this means going forward. To be technical from a legal standpoint, Robert Morris is not guilty, right? But what an indictment is that an indictment is a formal accusation that there is probable cause to charge someone, right, of a crime, meaning the evidence has been presented to a grand jury, more than likely, and Robert Morris, the grand jury has decided, actually, yes, there's enough probable cause. There is enough evidence here to determine that it is a trial worth going forth, right? Which says a lot right there, but it doesn't mean necessarily he is guilty. I know we have his confession even stating these things, and so very interested what this means going forth. I want to look at an article here and talk about some of these things as well. So let me share my screen here, and let's talk about this. As you can see right here from our screen, it states, Texas megachurch founder Robert Morris indicted on charges of lewd acts with a child. We'll get into some of this as well. And then you have the under title right there. Morris resigned as senior pastor of Gateway Church in Southlake last year after admitting inappropriate sexual behaviors in the 1980s, right? When he was 20 years old with Cindy Clemenshire, as she was about 12 years old when this started to happen. This happened over a period of 5 years, I believe, if I recall correctly. But we went over some of those videos. We talked about it. We're not going to rehash all that here. You can watch those if you would like on the channel. But let's actually talk about some of these things here. Let's go into this article from NBC News. I mean, this is national news, guys. I mean, this is everywhere. AP News, everybody's talking about this. It says the founder of a Texas megachurch who resigned as senior pastor last year after he admitted, that's a huge part of this as well, inappropriate sexual behavior in the 1980s has been indicted on 5 criminal counts involving a child, the Oklahoma Attorney General office said Wednesday. So if you recall, when this came out, Robert Morris actually admitted to this being true. Obviously he didn't go into all the details, but he admitted that the accusations against him were true, right? Keep going. Robert Morris, 63, who founded Gateway Church in Southlake, is charged with 5 counts of lewd or indecent acts with a child, the Attorney General's office said in a statement. So not that this only happened once, but in a period of, a period of time, this happened 5 times, right? Not just once. So, I mean, these are, man, wow. I mean, shocking claims to, right, anyone who holds the office of a pastor, right? The abuse began in December 1982 when Morris was visiting the Hominy, Oklahoma home of the victim, the Attorney General office alleged. He was 21 and she was 12 at the time. There you go. It continued for 4 years, the office said. It was not clear whether Morris had an attorney in the criminal case, announced Wednesday. Gateway Church in Southlake, which is in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, is one of the largest megachurch in the United States. Yes. In June, after Cindy Clemenshire came forth to accuse Morris of sexually abusing her as a child, Morris said he engaged in inappropriate sexual behavior with a young lady in a home where I was staying, in a statement to the evangelical news site, The Christian Post. So, and we'll actually read what he said. It was kissing and petting and not intercourse, but it was wrong, he said. So, I think we kind of get what he's getting at. He's not trying to be as graphic or explicit about what happened. Now, some people are upset about that. I mean, I think we still see what's going on, what he's admitting to, even in this reduced version, even in this, kind of reducing of what actually happened. You kind of get what he's saying happened, right? I don't think we have to use our imagination too strongly. But let's keep going. It says 3 days later, he resigned as senior pastor, and the church's board of elders said it had not been aware of the girl's age or the length of the alleged abuse. Now, some people have contested that this is actually not true. Again, that's not the point of this video, although I'm curious, will there ever be any charges of brought to other people if they did know? Again, not saying there will be, just throwing that question out there. You guys can feel free to talk about that in the comment section, but let's keep going on. So this is the Gateway sex abuse scandal. Pastor Robert Morris admits inappropriate sexual behavior. Morris resigns. They accept his resignation. Emails reveal Clemenshire's attempt to seek restitution for Morris in 2005. We kind of saw all that. They tried to essentially pay her off, right? Morris asked Clemenshire how much her silence would cost, a phone transcription. I mean, I think there's a lot of evidence demonstrating not only the act itself, but the attempt to silence this, to hush this by people. And so that's why I say I'm curious if other people will be held accountable in their knowledge of these acts as well. Again, don't know, but we will see. The elder's prior understanding was that Morris's extramarital relationship, which he had discussed many times throughout his ministry, was with a young lady and not abuse of a 12-year-old child, the board said at the time. Now, let me just say this, just to be fair. I am sure that there are people who got on later in the ministry, who were on the elder board, deacon board, whatever, who had no clue about what really happened. I'm pretty sure of that. But I also believe there are people who did know. I mean, let me just say this. I find it hard to believe that there are some people who did not know, because again, if we look at our older videos, he was sat down for like a year, maybe 2 years. And then after that, he was started to go preach again. And so, yeah, anyways, a voicemail left with the church's administration office was not immediately returned after business hours was this evening. So it seems like they tried to call, no return was given back. And so that is Robert Morris, young Robert Morris, his wife, and I'm assuming first child right there in 1984. Continuing on with the article, it says a multi-county grand jury returned the indictment against Morris. The Attorney General's office said there can be no tolerance for those who sexually prey on children. Totally agree. I mean, my position, and this is from the Attorney General, who is that? Gentner Drummond. My position is that, hey, those who commit these vile acts against the innocent, the weak, the defenseless should be charged, should be held accountable to the highest degree. No more of these slap on the wrist for people who do these kind of acts. I don't care if it's people I like, don't like. You do these things with children, you need to be prosecuted. There's the term. Prosecuted to the highest degree. Anyways, this case is more despicable because the alleged perpetrator was a pastor, absolutely, who exploited his position. The victim in this case has waited for too many years for justice to be done. I totally agree. I totally agree with this. So there is a young Robert Morris there there's a young Cindy right there in 1982. Right there, the picture says 1980 on Christmas Day. Going on, the indictment, which refers to the girl only as CC, alleges that Morris inappropriately touched the girl beginning around December 25th, 1982. Wow, right on that picture, right? When she was 12. And again, on other occasions when she was 13 to 14 years old, including once when he rubbed himself on her. Wow. He also, on one occasion, took off the girl's clothes when she was 12. The indictment says, man, this is, praying for Cindy, her family, on kind of having to relive all this over again. So this is Cindy now as she is older. I saw some very unfortunate comments from people who are just ardent gateway defenders who are kind of blaming the girl, which is kind of just, let's say that at 12-year-old, she did consent, which is kind of just, I don't even want to use that language because a 12-year-old cannot consent, right? But, it's just funny how people are like making the 12-year-old the one who's the kind of sexual predator. I saw some of those comments, just very disturbing in people's minds that they want to think that way. Even if she was a grown man, a 21-year-old should never, even if they were approached by a child, should never return the sexual heat, so to speak. Again, I don't believe that's what happened, but nevertheless, just wanted to respond to that. Clement Shire told NBC News last year that the abuse started when Morris, as an evangelist, was staying at the family's home on Christmas Day. Clement Shire said Morris told her, "Never tell anyone about this. It will ruin everything." And how many times do you see these predators doing like this? Ladies, men, or let me say children, boy or girl, if anybody tells you not to tell someone when it comes to things like this, that's probably a cue that you need to tell somebody. I mean, don't be silent about this, you know. I mean, parents, good time to teach your children about these things, you know. In a written statement Wednesday, she was grateful to authorities for their work on the criminal case. After almost 43 years, the law has finally caught up with Robert Morris for the horrific crimes he committed against me as a child. Now it is time for the legal system to hold him accountable, she said. In 2007, Clement Shire hired Drummond to represent her in seeking restitution from Morris to cover the cost of her counseling. The negotiations fell apart when Clement Shire was not willing to sign a non-disclosure agreement, NDA, right? She told NBC News. So she was offered an NDA. I think if I recall correctly, the amount was for $50,000 to sign this NDA. Hey, take your money, get on with your life. And she was not willing to do so. Morris was a member of President Donald Trump's Spiritual Advisory Committee during his first term. After the allegations were made public last year, Trump campaign spokesperson Steve Chung said Trump has not been made aware of the allegations. Morris was not in custody Wednesday. A spokesperson for the Attorney General office said charges will be entered Thursday in Orange County, and a judge will set an initial appearance and bond. So what'll happen? He'll go through get charged Thursday. Probably have to appear before a judge. They'll determine if he'll have a bond. If he has a bond, then he won't be in jail. He will be awaiting his court case until then. Let's read this last couple part right here. It says Oklahoma's Attorney General office will work for Morris attorneys for him to surrender himself. So, which will probably be in his best interest to show up and not actually flee and go through this trial. The charge of lewd or indecent acts on a child is a felony punishable up to 20 years in prison, the office said. So remember, he has 5 counts. Not that I don't think the charges go like, it's not 5 times 20. So I don't think it'll run congruently. I think they'll determine the harshness of it, and then it'll either go up to like 20 years or close to 20 years based on those 5 counts. So a lot of these charges can run congruently, meaning at the same time. And so, very interested to see what you guys think about this. A lot of people have shared their thoughts already, have their concerns, what this means. I mean, are there other victims? Again, questions that ultimately I think we just need to be worried about this. As far as my knowledge, no one else has come forward about these matters. So it seems like Cindy is the only one, but it's very unfortunate that, this has happened. I mean, and Dallas has taken a hit this year with so many of these kinds of acts, right? And so, man, we will be following this. I mean, I'm going to be dropping this video. This video is coming out Thursday. And so by this time, it's possible that he's already had his hearing and bond already set. I haven't heard anything about that. But we will probably, the trial will probably be a 2-year process. Unfortunately, trials don't happen as quick and speedily as we were told. But we will be following this, and hopefully, if you guys are interested, let me know in the comment section, following up with some updates about this. And so, guys, let me know, and we will probably be talking about this more. Until the next time, y'all, grace and peace. Oh, grace and peace. Thank you for watching another episode of All Things Theology. If you enjoyed what you heard today, go on and give me a like. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. I promise to give you weekly lives, videos, interactions, exposing false teachers, sharing with you, the viewer, my theological beliefs, things about the culture, and the Bible. So if you're here for that, come on and join us. Also, if you would like to support this channel financially, you can do so by becoming a Patreon member or a YouTube member. Links are in the description below. You can see content before it drops. You can also have Q&A sessions with also other Patreon members, YouTube members as well. So if you would like that, hit the description link in below.